Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM here on a Tuesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go across to our friends over in the US and of course speak to another music artist. And of course, we've got a very special guest, of course, as I said, of course, her name is Angela on Zoom right now from the US. Thanks, Angela, for joining us.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
No worries. Well, tell us, obviously at the moment, obviously what's been happening with the COVID situation, what have you been doing to, have you been doing any virtual performances?
I've done a couple of virtual performances. I'm in conversation. They've got some great ideas out here to have your guests put masks on, these virtual masks. Have you heard of this yet? And you do the performance and it's actually as if they're in the room with you. So I'm in communication about that. Until then, I'm just kind of taking it easy, man, taking a little break.
And how's that break been for you? Was it, I guess, a real timing break for you to, sort of had a chance to just relax a bit from performing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in the same boat as everyone else. And I think if we're wise, we do some internal journeys. I'm actually getting ready to book a trip to Dubai to just go by myself, hang out, and just do some soul searching out there.
Tell us, I guess, have you had a chance to sort of sit down and sort of think about what you want to do on the other side of this COVID situation in regards to your music journey?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a music video soon. So I think a lot of things are just transferring to online. You know, how can we be entertaining online and still be in our living rooms and hang out with you guys and use our gifts in that way? So I don't think it diminishes it. I just think it's being able to accept the change. For now, it's temporary.
Now, prior to COVID, have you done any like performances over there in Arizona?
Yeah, I recently had a huge album release show out here promoting my latest album, Heartbreak Mixtape. And that went over really well. And I was about set to do some big shows and touring on that and whatnot, but that got delayed a little bit.
How frustrating is it? I know when I've been doing other music artists from across the state over there that I guess it hasn't been easy to, I guess most people have released albums and EPs prior to COVID and obviously want to go on tour like you've mentioned for yourself. How frustrating is that for you to, I guess, not be out there to perform in front of your amazing fans over there in the US?
Well, I think frustration is a waste of energy. I think that's just a child in us thinking that tantrums will get our way. So I don't say that I'm frustrated. I've just learned to accept the way that things are, and you know what we do have control over is putting positive spins on what we want, and then we can make the best of it. And that's sort of what I've chosen to do. Things slowed down, and so I use that as an opportunity for myself, like I said, to just do a lot of online courses that I've been wanting to do and do some soul searching and just really go in. And so I'm okay with that.
Now, also, I'm going to go back to last year, 2019. How did you go in the music journey and what was the best performance that you've done in 2019?
2019 was my favorite year to date musically because that was my big album release show that I was just mentioning. And I would say that was also my favorite show of the year. It's hard to, you know, put a favorite because every show is special to me. But that one had a little extra magic for whatever reason. It was a beautiful turnout. Everything just lined up. You know, it was just a magical day, a magical night. We had an awesome celebration afterwards. And there was a beautiful resort here that I actually held it at instead of a concert venue because I wanted it to be a little extra classy. Mountain Shadows Resort, and so that was the highlight for me in regards to shows last year.
Now, obviously, you mentioned, of course, one of the venues that you've performed at. Is there any other venues that you have performed in the past that that you would love to go back to and perform?
That's a good question. Nothing stands out particularly. There's certain things that we're invited to that are always extra fun, like me and the band that I choose to work with. But I can't say that there's not one that I don't like. You know, I didn't have a concert or a show somewhere where I was just like, this sucks. So I'm not to sound too chipper over here, but I really do. I'm really blessed in that way that every venue, every show, I've just appreciated, you know, and I think there's something to be said about those smaller venues, just like, you know, there's these grandiose venues that everybody kind of wants to go to, but the intimate venues are just as special, you know.
Now, I know that obviously mainly all the music and all the performances in regards to over there in the US have been in the bigger cities and obviously down south. How's the music scene there in Arizona?
Are you talking about during these times or in general?
Just in general.
You know, the beauty about Arizona and the music scene is that Arizona is not really known for being real hip into music. So therefore, I believe it gives some of the artists a better chance to stand out when it's not oversaturated. And once again, you just make the best of it, right? It's not the biggest music state in the world, that's for sure. But there is these great opportunities to, like I said, stand out. Do what you got to do and stand out, and then you get noticed. You know, I got noticed from other areas of the country, and even all the way in Australia. Look at that.
And of course, how did you get involved in music, and why did you choose it?
Another good question. I think music chose me. I sang since I was a really small girl, and it just sort of came out of me. You know, I would annoy the crap out of my parents because I was just singing all around the house and I couldn't stop. And it's in my blood, it's in my bones.
Now, throughout your music journey, is there one performance that stands out to you the most? Now, obviously, you mentioned about the recent one prior to COVID. Is there any other performances that's been a real highlight for you?
One comes to mind. I don't know if you're familiar with the Seattle Seahawks, but out here it is a very, very popular football team, and they sell out in their stands every year. And so you're looking at about 70,000 people in those stands. And I got invited to sing the national anthem, and it was just me and a microphone and 70,000 people, and it was so powerful. You know, that amount of energy is just so strong. You can feel it, and that really stands out as a very powerful, magical performance.
Now, you mentioned about that. Obviously, it's a really special moment for any artist to perform the national anthem at an NFL game. I've been lucky to be to a couple of NFL games myself, and just hearing it and feel part of it over there is spine-tingling moment, just to be there with everyone and feel the moment of especially when everyone sings the national anthem. Performing it yourself in front of amazing crowds at an NFL game, that must be really spine-tingling and really special moment for you.
Beyond words. You know, I would say leading up to it, I certainly had my nerves like most humans. And then once I got on the stage or the lawn, and I held the mic and I looked up and I looked around, it was like I completely relaxed, and it was like I was born for this to be one of my moments. You know, I just felt that that was exactly where I was meant to be, and I did really well with it. It's a hard song. I don't know if you've ever tried to sing that. That's not easy.
No, no, it's a very difficult song to sing, especially national anthem. And I have to ask, I guess, how did that sort of come about? I guess to perform the national anthem.
You know, a lot of times it's politics, but my time was actually fate. I had a really good friend of mine pass away from cancer, actually, and we were having our celebration of life party, and I had agreed on her deathbed that I was going to sing for that. And so I sang for it, and it just so happened that somebody that was there booked the music, the acts for the national anthem for the Seattle Seahawks. And she heard me sing, and she was like, I know this might sound weird, but I'd really like you to send in an audition tape for that. And then, of course, the board has to hear it and whatnot. And so she opened the door from that moment. So I like to think that my friend that passed on, transitioned on, created that.
Now I have to ask, obviously, just going a little bit away from music for a moment. I'm assuming now you're a Seattle Seahawks fan?
Sure, I'll go with that. Yeah, sure, they're great. They're a great team.
Now, of course, obviously you're over there in Arizona. Is there any opportunity at all for you to hopefully perform something similar at an Arizona Cardinals game?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, absolutely. Once you get in and do a good job, then I think it's open and available. If I should choose to do that, you know, it was definitely, like I said, a lot of nerves leading up to it, and it's a tough song. So yeah, I think I would accept the invitation again, and I think that's in the cards.
Now you've had a chance to have a break from being involved in music. Do you have any short or long-term goals in the music scene?
I always find that such an interesting question, because I do my best, right, in life, in everything that I go after and everything that I'm passionate about. And I try not to be super fixated on how I think that's supposed to look, because sometimes that gives us tunnel vision, you know, and there can be something that I had never thought of that comes into my path. And if I'm too busy thinking that it's supposed to go like this, then I might miss something. So while I just put out there that, hey, I love performing, it's a part of me. It's a beautiful way for me to be self-expressed, and I'm open to the flow. Just like I said, that national anthem thing was fated. You know, how would I ever predict that could be in the cards for me at that time? I just think we do what we love, we do the best that we can, and we stay open, and that's the goal, you know. More shows. I'm interested in definitely doing more music, and I can see the more that I'm soul searching, the deeper the music gets. And so I'm interested in creating some more sort of soulful, vulnerable stuff. I think that's the next step, get even more vulnerable.
And what does the music scene mean to you now?
I'm grateful, you know, I'm grateful. I think whatever attitudes you want to put on the music scene is what it will reflect back. There's a lot of opportunity, and I think so long as you're doing what you love, I think, you know, if you're doing music to be famous or something like that, that doesn't really have a lot of context, it doesn't have a lot of depth to it, then I think it can suck, But if you're doing what you love, then you're a winner, regardless of how it looks. You're doing what you love. And I think that's the priceless piece.
And I guess, and I know you have a lot of fans over here in Australia because we listen to your music quite a bit, especially down here in Melbourne. Is there any chance that you would love to be performing down here in Australia?
Absolutely. I'm so open to that.
Any particular city or anything that you like, any particular, venues that you love to perform down here?
I can't say that I'm terribly familiar, but I would ask you to pave the way for me and tell me what's the place to go.
Well, definitely Melbourne. So we love our music down here. So do you have any problem down here in Melbourne?
Yeah, I would in a heartbeat. Australia is actually on my bucket list, so I definitely plan. I've never been, so you can say that I would absolutely be game to do that.
Now, other than performing in Arizona, I know obviously the main capital of music is in Nashville, in Tennessee. Is that somewhere down the track as well?
I can't say that I see that for myself right now, but you never know. You never know. That tends to lean a little bit more towards country anyway, and that's not, while I can sing country and I love country, it's not necessarily in my wheelhouse of like how I promote myself right now. So, but like I said, I'm always open. Who knows? Something came into my path that at that moment I thought, oh, that sounds like a fun idea. Then I leave my life open so that I can be flexible. I'm blessed like that. I don't have anything really tying me down.
And what would be your advice to our listeners or our viewers out there that should get involved in music?
I think I touched on it a little bit, but to reiterate, because it's such an important point, it's that if you're doing what you love, and if it's your calling, then follow what you love, and stay open, stay fluid, stay in the flow, and don't be too fixated on, being famous and all that stuff, because quite frankly, be careful what you ask for. I think that can be a beautiful way to create a podium to spread your word, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of pros and cons that go with everything. So foundationally, just do what you love, follow your heart, and let that guide you.
Now let's finish off with a couple of lighthearted questions, which is any embarrassing moments on stage?
Oh my gosh, I feel like every artist has an embarrassing moment on the stage. One time, me and my band, we were performing at a big corporate. I'm giving you a good. I've never shared this story before, so just letting you know you're special. You're special to hear this. So we took a break and we had, whatever we had to eat, and I think a soda or something. And I was singing a really powerful note, and a burp came out at the same time, right in the microphone. What are you gonna do? Everybody just got a kick out of it. So.
Now, I know I get a really good answer on these on this question, which is when you perform, is there at any point you just go into a mental blank and forget a words to any lyric to a song?
It's definitely happened, absolutely. I think we've all done it. A lot of artists will put a iPad out or something so they can see the lyrics, but I personally don't do that. So I have made up many a lyric, my friends. I like to think that people don't notice, but I'm pretty sure they do, because some of the times that I have to make something up on the spot, too, like if I'm doing a cover or something, it's ridiculous. I don't know how I come up with it, but I say some weird stuff. Yes, it happens.
Now, you mentioned about that, you make up lyrics, and most artists do. And I know that for a fact, and I've done that myself, being a former artist. Is there one particular song that you look back now and like it actually sort of fits when you make up lyrics?
You mean, there's so many. I can't, there's not one particular song that stands out because I've done it so often. And it's usually the song that you feel like you know the most, that you've sang the most. That's the one that all of a sudden, I don't know where my mind would go, and I would just like completely blank. And all of your band members know, like we just look at each other. And then sometimes people just say nothing and freeze. Luckily, I say mumble jumble. I say something. Gibberish.
And of course, when you go out on stage and introduce yourself to your amazing fans, is there any point that you actually forget the location you perform at and just make up a location?
I can't say that's ever happened to me. No, I'm blessed there. But I know a lot of people that they get a little discombobulated, and that has happened.
Now, do you get fans that ask for like a song request? And is there one particular song that you get requested the most?
I have a song out called Build a Boy, and that's probably the most requested, and Heartbreak Mixtape. But then I get just the randoms, but I'd say those two are the most requested.
Now, you mentioned about your band just a moment ago. Tell us, I guess, number one, do you stay in touch with them? And number two, why in any performance, is there, and we mentioned about embarrassing moments for yourself, is there any embarrassing moments that your band members have done on stage?
Yes. We've all had our moments, but yes, we stay in touch. To answer the first question, absolutely. I had one band member once have just a little bit too much to drink, and we had one more set, and she pretty much forgot how to play the guitar. I'm not really quite sure how we got through that, but she lost all mobility. And luckily the other band members were able to hold it down, but it wasn't a habit of hers. It was kind of a fluke, so that's why it made it more funny. She wasn't a big drinker, and that's why it kind of caught up to her.
And of course, I've got to finish off with this one last one, which is for everyone that should follow you on social media and through the music channels. How can I go about it?
Angela Ferrari Music, and that's my Facebook music page and also my Instagram.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. You're the very first artist or anyone that we've had on the show from Arizona. So thank you so much for joining us, and let's hope you can get back on the music performance scene again in regards to doing it live, and hopefully we get to see you down here in Australia very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
No worries. And that's Angela Ferrari there from, of course, Arizona, of course, one of the music artists from the US. And of course, you can follow, as you mentioned, you can follow her on social media for all amazing music, because it is a must listen to. So make sure you follow her on the social media on Facebook and Instagram, of course, to check out her latest music. There's more on the Smash Evening Show right after this. Don't go away.